Hey everyone, welcome to a new video. Today I wanted to do a case study example to show you what not to do when creating a Redbubble design, TeePublic design. You can even take some details and move them over to platforms like Etsy, Zazzle, Society6, the list goes on and on, right? Things that might seem common sense, you'd be surprised. There's a lot of people that don't think about certain things. And this is a perfect example of a design of what not to do when it comes down to any sort of print on demand ever, okay? And the reason why I'm showing you guys this is because if you can see the mistakes that other people are making, you can kind of write them down in your mind as kind of like things that you shouldn't do as well, right? And it's much easier to pick out what other people are doing wrong than usually to pick out what we're doing wrong or ourselves are doing wrong, because it's just an internal kind of thing, right? So let's go ahead and I want to show you guys this example. So you could see what this design clearly says. I'm not going to read it out loud. Sorry I'm using this design, but it's just an example, right? The concept of the design is about carbohydrates, right? Like how they're, just says it. I mean, I'm not going to read the word, but you get the point. The first aspect is the design. Although the design could be good, it might fit good on products, it might not be cut off or anything like that. The art has no relation to what's actually going on with the words. So there's nothing here that relates, right? So this is clearly a message against carbohydrates or the consumption of carbohydrates, and these are pictures of flowers. Flowers have nothing to do with carbohydrates. If anything, you could draw like a picture of a donut with X through it or something like that. That would be somewhat relatable, but this is not relatable whatsoever. So the first thing is design relatability in relation to the title, right? The title, the concept of the art, this has nothing to do with it. For example, if I take a picture of a donut and I post it on Redbubble and title it watermelon, or if I, for example, take a picture of a donut and write under it, I love watermelons, this is a perfect example of it. I mean, these designs are going to be treated the same. Literally, if I took a picture of a donut, right, a vector type donut image, right, and I put under it, I love watermelons, it doesn't make sense. You're going to look at me and you're going to think I'm crazy. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to laugh, but you're going to think I need some help, all right? The same thing here. This does not make sense. This flowers have nothing to do with carbohydrates, right? So that's the first thing. Obviously, the design style could be improved, but it is what it is. But let's just go ahead and scroll down. This is where the real problem comes in, right? And this is where I start to realize that like maybe some people's thoughts are not all the way there. And the concept, you clearly see what it says, right? This person is against carbohydrates. But if you look in the tags, it says, I love carbs. I mean, these are two opposite messages. And the reason how I even came up about this design is I searched the word I love carbs, right? This is what I searched. And looking through the design sits somewhere here. Here it is. When I search for I love carbs in Redbubble, right? This design comes up. Now, the reason why this design comes up, if you look, there's not that many tailored to designs, right? All the other designs that show up are not directly related. That's why they show up. But I've spoken about this in the Redbubble tagging course before, so I'm not going to even go over it now about why certain designs show up that shouldn't be there. But the reason why this shows up is because it's indexed within the tags, right? So it has the keyword I love carbs in the tags. It's also found in the title, right? So, and when I search for I love carbs, not the title, excuse me. When I search for I love carbs, this comes up. Why? Because it's in the tags. The keyword is in the tags. But if you look at it, right, the I love carbs has nothing to do with, right? I love carbs has nothing to do with this. Like, it has nothing to do with it. In fact, it is the antithesis of this piece of art. And I'm not sure if this person is not an English speaker or what is it where they get these keywords from. or maybe they're just blindly copying and pasting, but this is a beginner mistake. Like, this is an amateur mistake that, I'll be honest, even amateurs shouldn't be doing a mistake like this. So yeah, I mean, for the most part, their tags are okay. Just the I love carbs part should never have shown up. And that does make a difference long term, because if they're making such a simple mistake in the art and in the tags on that level, what do you think their whole store is going to reference, right? And these are going to be the same type of people, guys, that will create designs, will try as hard as they possibly can, or they believe they will, but they'll end up with no success, no sales, no wins, no nothing. And then they're going to wonder as if the platform is the problem. I got a comment the other day, which I always scratch my head when I get these comments, but people say, is it truly possible to make money on Zazzle? Is it truly possible to make money on TeePublic? Whatever. So a couple of days ago, like I said, there was somebody who commented, is it truly possible to make money on Zazzle? I said, of course. The company made over 491 million or whatever it was in the year 2022, right? How is it not possible? All the sellers who are selling and have gotten a sale have contributed to the $491 million. So, I mean, obviously it's possible. Like, well, yeah, obviously, right? And then they say, well, how much money can I make? And then I reply simply saying or they say, how much time does it to make money? And I said, well, first of all, it depends on the money and it depends on the time. Time has nothing to do with it. It depends on the action that you use in that period of time, the things that you do in that period of time. So, for example, if this person created this design, right, I can tell you most people are not going to buy this design. Just even if they're tagged properly, like forget the thing that they put in one wrong tag here. Even if they tagged it properly, this design would never sell. And part of the reason it would never sell is because there's no art. This doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? It's a messaging clearly about carbs, and then there's flowers in the picture. It just doesn't make sense logically. Something I taught in the design course, which I mentioned the design course before, but we have this three-step system, and one of the steps in the system is finding elements that we can add to the art, right, very quickly that are related to what's going on. This has no relation whatsoever, and you guys obviously know that. Quick solutions to this. I know some people might say, well, how can we find good solutions to this? I've shared this before. The TeePublic tagging tool, if you're uploading to TeePublic, the Redbubble Rocket Tagger tool, if you're on Zazzle, the Zazzle AI Tagger. I've made videos on all these tools, right? I've shown them all. And I've used them, and I consistently use them every day. Like, it's not something that I don't use, but I use them every day. And they can take out a lot of the effort. And I think I've said this before, but my virtual assistants who help me out, and they're working for me, and they're working very hard, they don't speak English as their first language. They don't. They learned some English in school, but it's not something that they speak in their first language. I have virtual assistants in Asian countries, and I even have one in Venezuela, and English is not their first language. There's a huge language barrier, and so all I do is provide them the tools, and they have the basic keywords, and once they do the search based on those basic keywords, then they can get results. Right? They can just find the right tags and they apply them. And that saves a lot of effort and money. And I'll tell you why. Because if they're doing it without the tool, right, as an example, and I could just show you the math on this, right? So the tool, let's just say this TeePublic tool costs $9.99. And if I go back here, this Redbubble tool costs $12.99, right? So let's just do the math on that. $12.99, okay? $12.99 I'm paying for the tool to get access to 1 month. And the virtual assistant is going to use it, and they're going to find the right tags and apply it. Let's just say they're going to make a design for me that something about like keto dieting. Let's say Keto Queen, right? And let's say they run the tool and they get a bunch of tags in the tool, right, that can provide them results. And based on those tags, let's just pick out a random tag that's related. Let's say something like, let's see here. What are some tags that are related? It says ketosis, right? Let's say they had the idea for the word ketosis. If they didn't have the tool, they would type it out. There could be a chance that they end up spelling that word wrong, right? And it doesn't have to be just that word. There's so many instances of so many designs that are being uploaded, right, where my virtual assistants can spell the word wrong. Even me, I have problems with spelling. I'm not good at spelling. I'm not good at structuring keywords or sentences or whatever the case may be. You guys know I have dyslexia. I think I mentioned this many times. It's not an excuse, but it is the truth, right? So I'm not good at spelling. So I use things to help me speed up the process, cut down costs, and increase my time in terms of freedom, and thereby decreasing the amount of time that I'm working. And you guys know that for me, print on demand, like the whole Redbubble, TeePublic, Etsy, the whole thing, like the whole gamut, for me is not an all-day job, right? It's a part-time thing. I'm doing it. I'm getting out of my way, and I'm doing other things in my life. Same thing like YouTube. I'm making a video, talking to you guys, and then I'm working on other things. I've spoken about this before. I'm not going to keep hammering it, but my main thing is blogging, right? So I have a website. Let's just say I create a website about mental health or mental discipline or whatever the case may be, and I create blogs on that. I do the keyword research, I write the blogs, I do the whole thing, and then what I'm doing is I'm driving traffic to my other products with it, right? So if I have a product on my store, on my Redbubble store, where I'm selling a mental health, like let's say I have a phone case that says discipline on it, and it's designed well, and I know people might want it, and I'm preaching discipline in the blog post, then people click on that link for the iPhone case or whatever the product might be, and they could potentially buy, right? There's no guarantee, but that's what I do every day on my daily basis. And it's not always tied to print on demand. There's some things that I sell, that I own, right? And then there's some things I don't own, like print on demand stuff, things like that. And then I have a few, print on demand websites separate from the Redbubbles, the TeePublics, all that kind of stuff, which are SEO and ads based. It just depends on the website. But my whole point here is that time is of the essence, and also logic. Like the first thing that I showed you guys with the art and the flowers. I mean, this is a mistake that should never happen, ever. And you know what you guys could do is you can, look through all your past designs. Just invest one day doing this. You don't even have to do a lot. Invest one day doing this, and really what you're doing, you're sharpening your axe, right? And what I mean by that is, I think it was Abraham Lincoln. He said, give me 7 hours to chop down a tree. I'll spend 6 hours sharpening my axe. Because it's your tool. It's your mind. It's the knowledge you're going to acquire. Look back at all the old work you did, whether it be the design quality, whether it be the way you tag, whether it be the keywords that you use, and point out things where you could have went wrong. Now, I'm not telling you to go back and change them. Spilt milk is spilt milk. Don't cry about it. But move forward in a direction where you're fixing yourself every single time, and you're making sure you don't repeat those mistakes. Mistakes are okay to make as long as you're realizing they're mistakes and you're fixing them. If you know it's a mistake and you just keep doing it, well, that's not okay. You know what I'm saying? So try your best to try to improve it. At least that's what I tell myself. And every single design that I do, one of the golden rules, and I shared this in the Redbubble tag course, is that my golden rule, well, one of my golden rules is I am trying to find the proper tags that I can apply. I'm not blindly adding tags that may somewhat seem relevant but may not be relevant, right? Because, and I've said this before, when you apply certain tags, the way the algorithm works is they have associations within one another. Meaning, if I have a design that says, I love carbs. Let's just use that as an example. Let's just go back here and pick one out. Let's pick any of these. I love carbs. Let's pick this, right? I love carbs. All of my tags should be related to the I love carbs concept. You look at this and you see carbs, I love, I heart, love, heart, symbol, passion, love, heart, text, simple. There's a few errors here immediately. The word text, the word simple should never be here. And this design could have been number one in the I love carbs section. But the reason why it probably isn't, and this is a good design too, but it's simple, it works, but the reason why it potentially isn't is because the I love carbs concept, right, has no relation to the word text, has no relation to the word simple. And that's how these algorithms work. For people who do want to know this, I mean, you could search more in my Redbubble tag course, but the way these algorithms work is it works off of relevancy and data based on designers. But here's the thing that everyone forgets. The customers make the decisions, and relevancy is then determined by the customer. So let me explain what I mean. Let's just assume there's a niche where there's no need for it, like there's no search demand. Okay, let's just assume it was this niche. I love carbs, right? Let's just assume for a second in a multi-planetary world universe, okay, where there's in a far distant galaxy nobody's searching for the word I love carbs. Okay, based on the relevancy of those tags, all of those designs at that point are deemed equal up until you factor in favorites, right? So let's just erase the concept of the number of favorites, which is why I talk about using the Redbubble favorite automator as well to help boost your odds. But anyways, let's just assume there's no such thing as favorites, okay? There's only sales, there's only keywords. That's it. If everybody came in and added I love carbs to their tagging and added keywords related to I love carbs, right? Then all of these designs are deemed equal at that moment. However, if somebody then was to add the word salmon to their tags or broccoli or a bunch of keywords that don't relate to I love carbs, like if I added the word church has nothing to do with the word I love carbs, right? What's going to happen is naturally I'm going to receive now a lower ranking demographic because of my relevance in my tags amalgamated, meaning all of my tags together make a difference. The individual keywords matter and all the tags together matter. And this is based on the new Redbubble algorithm that has been taking change over the last year and a half. This is not based on the past one. The past one, you could get away with doing stuff like this. And I dare you to try to do stuff like this now. It's not going to work. And I could tell that this design was created prior to the change in like the past year and a half, 2 years. Why? Because tagging like this used to work when spamming was more allowed. And when I say more allowed, meaning more favored in the algorithm. But the old designs hold their spot because relevancy doesn't change, but the algorithm now changes based on the newly uploaded content. So when we say less is more, what we're really saying is maximize your ability to create the best tags that are related to the design. After that, cut it off. Don't keep adding keywords that are not relevant, not necessary, and definitely not needed. And you'd be surprised, guys. The algorithm right now for Redbubble is not perfect, but it's getting better. It's getting drastically better. And yeah, there's certain designs that shouldn't be at the top, but they are for now, but it's only a matter of time. In the past, it was a lot worse, right? In the past, like 2 years ago, it was a lot worse, and there has been a shift. And thankfully, and I say thankfully, that I had the foresight to see this all coming, and I structured my tag course in a way to where we can mitigate these issues. And like I said, I am not a black hatter, okay? There are people who teach black hat tactics who will say, go add a bunch of, like, for example, let's go ahead and go to this design, right? This is black hat techniques. When you write the word funny, they're trying to increase their relevance for the word funny, right? Even though this design is not really funny. I don't see what's funny about it. But anyways, they're trying to, in a black hat way, increase or re-engineer the algorithm by making the algorithm think that because the keyword exists more, right, that it might have precedence. And yes, that might have worked 2-3 years ago. Maybe even 5 years ago, it definitely would have worked. But now, you try to do something like this, you're only bringing pain to your account. You're not bringing anything positive. This is not the way it should be. And like I said, I had the foresight of showing this in the course, and that's why the people who took the course and who are really, really abiding by the things that I teach are doing good right now. They're doing good, and thank God for that. But the point here is that, guys, don't make these mistakes. The mistake that I show you with the design relating, the tags, all these things can be easily avoidable. Don't try to game the system. Give exactly what it needs, and you'll do good. And it's not a matter of succeeding purely off of one design. This is another thing that a lot of people don't they don't think about, right? It's not succeeding off of one design. It's succeeding off of a plethora, thousands of designs over time. And I'm not just talking about Redbubble. We can talk about Redbubble, TeePublic, Zazzle, Etsy, Society6. If you took all those websites and uploaded to all of them individually for their own individual needs, yes, it takes time. Yes, it takes effort. Forget all that. But if you did, you would make obviously much more than somebody who just uploaded to one platform. Not to mention it's a danger to do that, but that's a different conversation for a different day. But yeah, guys, hopefully this video is beneficial. And if you walk away with nothing else, at least remember that thing that I showed you in the beginning with the carbs and the flowers and the whole thing. So yeah, guys, thank you guys for watching. I'll talk to you guys later. Hopefully this video is beneficial to you, informative, and I'll see you guys soon. All right, peace out, bye.